All right, Nick, let's talk about the Nebraska Cornhuskers coming into the season. Matt Rule, turnaround master, is seeing what he can do with this program. Started out a little bit rough, 2 losses, but in their they've won 3 of their last 4, rather, and they're looking like things are on the better foot. And in the question of the QB decision, there has been a decisive answer given from head coach Matt Rule, and I think Cornhuskers fans are going to like to hear this one. Let's get into the story, and then we'll talk about it on the other side. It says Cornhuskers will continue to start Heinrich Harburg at quarterback. He's gone 3-1 over the last 4 games, while season opening starter Jeff Sims has been recovering from an ankle injury. Well, we'll play with Heinrich for now. Jeff is ready to go on a moment's notice. Nebraska coach Matt Rule said Heinrich's played well. Heinrich's done some good things, so he will be the starter. Now, Nick, I think Matt Rule is onto something here because the results are truly the only thing you need to see. They started out pretty slow to the season. As soon as Heinrich sets in, they've gone 3-1. Things look much better. I think this guy is deserving of a starting spot. Who knows if he is the future of the program per se, but he at least deserves a further evaluation. And I think going into a big game, Big Ten matchup versus Northwestern, this could be really key for Nebraska. But I want to ask the Nebraska fans in the comment section below, Heinrich starting quarterback for Nebraska now, coming into the Northwestern game versus Northwestern to get them at home. What do you think the score of this game is going to be? Can they light up the scoreboard against a struggling Northwestern team? Let us know what your predictions for the score of Nebraska and Northwestern are in the comment section below. But Nick, what are your thoughts on the Rule's decision? What do you think Heinrich brings to this program? And is this the future of Nebraska football?
Yeah, I think it is. Like, obviously, there's a lot of factors that go into this, but let's be honest. Sims wasn't getting it done on 2 fronts. He was not scoring enough points, and he was turning the football over. If you look at the fact they only scored 10 points against Minnesota, and this is a Minnesota team going through their last set of games right here, 52 they gave up against Michigan, 24 they gave up against Louisiana, not a great offensive powerhouse. They gave up 37 at Northwestern, and they gave up 31 to North Carolina, right? This is not a good Minnesota defense, and Sims had all kinds of issues against them. How about Sims against Colorado, right? Only scoring 14 points. We know how bad, how horrifically terrible bad the Colorado Buffs defense has proven himself to be. They gave up a 29-0 lead to Stanford, and Stanford is far from a football powerhouse. Most teams run over the Colorado Buffs defense. Sims could not get it done. This is a Colorado football team that doesn't even have to be great offense, doesn't even have to be good offense, just has to be competent. If they have a competent offense like they showed against Illinois, they can win some games in the Big Ten. They can go to a bowl game. They can maybe upset a few folks down the stretch here because I think they got enough talent defensively to keep themselves in games, and we've seen that so far. They just need a quarterback who can just be competent. And Harburg, obviously a younger guy, is not only competent, he could also grow into above average. And I think that's what Rule is going with here. He's looking for something like, look, can we move the football? Can we avoid a bunch of disastrous turnovers? And we know Sims is the veteran, the junior to the sophomore in this case. We know Sims has a lot of physical tools. He's a big guy, great athlete, great arm. But in terms of production, in terms of taking care of the football, in terms of keeping the offense moving, the clear decision is to stick with Harburg. Because right now, if you're Matt Rule, you're trying to get so much of the culture back in Nebraska. And it's about winning games. Because this is a program, let's be honest, and you Huskers fans, you guys know this, not a lot of winning going on right now in Nebraska. You need to do what's best in terms of winning games. As weird as it sounds, because you're building for the long term a little bit, you need to start doing things that make players, make boosters, make fans believe that you're also into win games today. We've been hearing about 2, 3, 4-year plans in Nebraska for, I think, the better part of 20 years, it feels like, right now, since Bo Pelini left, for sure. Right now, we need to see, okay, do we have a coach who can focus on the long term? We know Rule can. He's a great turnaround artist, but can he also focus on the short term? And I think sticking with Harburg at quarterback is a great example of this. I think this is a big move for Nebraska, and I think it'll help build the momentum as they work through the second half of their schedule.
And this helps going forward as far as it helps Nebraska. It hurts other teams as far as game planning because I think Harburg is a much more dynamic quarterback. He's leading the team in rushing at this point in time, 352 rushing yards, almost 100 yards per game at this point. This guy is doing very good things on the ground. So I think as this young quarterback develops, The passing numbers are going to go up, but he always is going to have that mobile and scramble ability. He's always going to have his legs, which we all know, Nick, in today's day and age of football, if you have a quarterback that can use their legs, that is the new gold standard of quarterbacks. You want a guy who's mobile in the pocket and is able to scramble and get you those extra yards when you need it. That's something that Harburg brings to the table. And as you said, being a younger player, this guy's a sophomore to Sims is junior. I think that this guy he brings a little bit more to the table. He's a lot more staying power. He just seems like a more long-term answer. But like you said, they need to think about the short term to get things, moving in the right direction. I think this guy, at least with his legs, gives them a better option in the short term as well.
Yeah, and you look at their schedule, right? Going down the list here, there's a lot of winnable football games. Now, look, we've heard that about Nebraska before. If you get Northwestern at home, you get Purdue at home, you go to Michigan State, which normally would be tough, but that program appears to be in free fall right now. You get Maryland at home. I think they're a good team, but they usually taper off the second half of seasons. Then you finish up Wisconsin and Iowa. Those are two tough games. But if you look at the schedule, there's enough opportunities to get to a bowl game for sure. You just need to be competent offensively. And I think that's what they're going here with Harburg. And if they get to a bowl game, get all those practices, get a little bit better, get a chance to play into the season, get some mojo back behind this program, I think they could go into year 2 with a lot of momentum. And I think sticking with Harburg right here could be the first step into reaching that goal.